Hello. This evening I'm going to be making, or cleaning even, a squid and some fresh prawns from Swansea Market. I'm going to be deep fry frying them in some spring water batter to make calamari and deep fry fried prawns. Calamari is one of Alan's favourites. I've asked the fishmonger not to clean it out so I can show you how I would do it. We start with the squid. This one's got quite a lot of ink on it today. It's literally dripping ink. And once I finish this now, I'm going to have to give this a good clean. So I'm just pulling out all the sort of guts. And there's also this backbone here that you need to get out. So that should pull out fairly easily. There, so I haven't quite got all the guts out of the inside here. So I'm just going to carry on pulling those out. And you can just sort of feel with your hand, if you can see that, I'm just pulling that out. It's all sort of soft. When I was on Britain's Best Home Cook the show, one of the options was squid or mackerel, and I would have been much happier with the squid than the mackerel. The squid has also got these sort of flaps that I'm going to take off. So you can see it sort of peels off, sort of like a thick skin. Starting to look a little bit less scary, and then we'll clean it all out, and then we'll have some lovely white sort of squid rings, which is what you could probably get from the fishmonger. I'm just going to get some water now to rinse this off. I'm going to put my squid in some nice clean water there. I'm just going to give this a quick rinse inside and out. Now normally I do this under the running tap, but just to show you today I've done it here. It's a bit like a sock. Oh, it's lovely. There we are. And that's done. Right, okay. So we've cleaned up after the squid. And just while I've got a nice clean board, I'm just going to cut the squid into these rings, like I mentioned. So you want them to be a fairly consistent sort of size. And these will batter up then and cook nicely. They're ready now. So we're going to move on to the prawns now. So I've got some fresh water and I got my prawns, and what we're going to do is we're going to be taking them out of the shell. So we're going to take the head off first, discard that, break the tail and pull it off. Now that hasn't ripped the tail or anything, they've got the whole tail there, I think you can see. And then I'm going to pull through the back there. There we are. And prawns have a little like poop line running through the back. So I'm just going to slit down the back, and then we're going to just pull that out with my knife. So if you can see that. They do say you can leave this in and it won't affect the prawns, but I prefer to take it out. I'm just going to give them a quick rinse. And then straight into the bowl ready to be battered. Last prawn. There he is in all his glory. They're quite ugly looking little things. There we are. A little bit of work, but not difficult to do, and I think comes out with a better sort of taste at the end. I got my bowl and we're going to make our spring water batter, and I got some lovely just normal spring water here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some flour. I will link in the sort of quantities that I use normally. It's very fizzy. I'm just going to season my batter now. I've got my crusted pepper mill. I need quite a bit of pepper. This is all the sort of seasoning that the fish is going to have. I've got some paprika. I'm going to give a good little shake of that. Alan loves paprika and it goes really nice in this sort of batter. And a nice pinch of sea salt. I'm going to mix our dry ingredients together and make a bit of a well in the centre. And then we're going to slowly add our spring water. Stop adding for a minute. I'll bring that together. You can see the sort of consistency I'm going for. It should coat the fish but not be too thick. This might be just a touch more. I'm just going to keep stirring it while I add it. The bubbles in the water really make this a nice light batter. Deep fry fryer is on warming up. I'm going to put the tray inside the fat. When we drop them in, if the tray was up, they would stick to the tray when they were cooking. I'm just going to put a little bit more flour in another bowl. I'm going to season that with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and a little bit more paprika. I'm going to take about half of my prawns to start with. Okay, so 6 prawns there. And I'm going to just roll them in the flour. We don't want a heavy coating. You can see it's very light. Then into the batter. And this is where it does get a little bit messy sometimes. The batter does tend to drip. And I'm just going to pop that into the fat to fry. If you see, they pop straight back up to the top. And then we're going to need to turn them, and then they should be nice and golden brown before we pull them out, which will probably take about 2 minutes, something like that. So I've just got a plate here ready now, lined with kitchen roll, to put them on when they come out. And they're just going to have another minute, and then I'm going to put the rest of the prawns into the flour. So these are ready to go in then as these come out. Just watch when you're cooking with a deep fry fryer that the amount of food can sometimes reduce the temperature, and we want it nice and high. This is on 180 to make sure we get that crisp light outside and the cooked inside. If it starts to drop because you put too much food in, it can it starts to go soggy and soak up the oil rather than staying crisp. So these are almost done now, so I'm going to take these out. See, they've puffed up quite a bit. Now, while these are fresh out of the fryer, I'm going to put a little bit of sea salt on them. And I can hear Alan by the kitchen door. I think he's salivated. And then we're going to repeat the process. So, come on, little prawns. Out you come. While we're waiting, we're going to pop in about half of the calamari into the flour. There we are. That one's coated nicely. And the flour literally just helps that batter to stick. Because the last thing you want is to fry them and then for it all to come off. One of my prawns, or 2 of my prawns have got caught at the bottom here. See if I can't give him a little persuasion to come off. There we are. He's off now. He's a little bit torn on the bottom, but he'll be fine. Oh, I think these are looking quite close to being ready now. Calamari will probably cook a bit quicker than the prawns. It's a much thinner piece of fish. You know, you think of the thickness of a prawn compared to that ring. Start with our first ring. We don't want too much batter on them. Another one. So the first one I think has got stuck to the bottom. I'll try and loosen it. There we are. There he is. So you want to try and do that because if they get stuck down there, then they'll cook quicker than everything else. Okay, so these will need turning now. They cook on both sides again. We're probably talking only another minute now and these will be coming off, and we put the last lot on. And then we'll be ready to tuck in. Honestly, these with a bit of beer on a Friday night. Yes. Those out. The squid inside really doesn't take a lot of cooking. You're talking minutes. And the batter is nice and light and golden. While we're waiting for them to finish cooking, I'm just going to get my board ready. So I've got a nice wooden board. I've got some garlic mayo that I've made, adding some garlic to some mayonnaise, and adding some parsley. So these are ready to go on. These are hand sort of hot now. These are done. So you get a nice nice and light and crisp. Not an everyday treat. These are boiling hot now, so I'm going to have to use my tongs. Friday night sorted. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions around either the processes of the prawns or the squids or anything else, then comment down below or contact me through katiehomecook.com, and please press the subscribe button down below and also the little bell icon so you get notified when I post a new video.